Introduction to Young Folks' Treasury, Volume 2. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lynne Thompson. Young Folks' Treasury, Volume 2. Edited by Wright Mabie. Introduction. With such a table of contents in front of this little foreword, I am quite sure that few will pause to consider my prosy effort. Nor can I blame any readers who jump over my head, when they may sit beside the kind old Baucis, and drink out of her miraculous milk pitcher, and hear noble Philemon talk, or join hands with Pandora and Epimetheus in their play before the fatal box was opened, or in fact be in the company of even the most awe-inspiring of our heroes and heroines. For the ages the various characters told about in the following pages have charmed, delighted, and inspired the people of the world. Like fairy tales, these stories of gods, demigods, and wonderful men were the natural offspring of imaginative races, and from generation to generation they were repeated by father and mother to son and daughter. And if a brave man had done a big deed, he was immediately celebrated in song and story, and quite as a matter of course the deed grew with repetition of these. Minstrels, gleemen, poets, and skalds, a Scandinavian term for poets, took up these rich themes and elaborated them. Thus, if a hero had killed a serpent, in time it became a fiery dragon, and if he won a great battle, the enthusiastic reciters of it had him do prodigious feats beyond belief. But do not fancy from this that the heroes were everyday persons. Indeed, they were quite extraordinary and deserved highest praise of their fellow men. So in ancient and medieval Europe the wandering poet or minstrel went from place to place repeating his wondrous narratives, adding new verses to his tales, changing his episodes to suit locality or occasion, and always skillfully shaping his fascinating romances. In court and cottage he was listened to with breathless attention. He might be compared to a living novel circulating about the country, for in those days books were few or entirely unknown. Oriental countries too had their professional story spinners, while our American Indians heard of the daring exploits of their heroes from the lips of old men steeped in tradition. My youngest reader can then appreciate how myths and legends were multiplied and their incidents magnified. We all know how almost unconsciously we color and change the stories we repeat, and naturally so did the gentle and gallant singers through the long gone centuries of chivalry and simple faith. Every reader can feel the deep significance underlying the myths we present, the poetry and imperishable beauty of the Greek, the strange and powerful conceptions of the Scandinavian mind, the oddity and fantasy of the Japanese, Slavs, and East Indians, and finally the queer imaginings of our own American Indians. Who, for instance, could ever forget poor Proserpina and the 6 pomegranate seeds, the death of beautiful Balder, the luminous Princess Labam, the stupid jellyfish and shrewd monkey, and the funny way in which Hiawatha remade the earth after it had been destroyed by flood? Then take our legendary heroes. Was ever a better or braver company brought together? Perseus, Hercules, Siegfried, Roland, Galahad, Robin Hood, and a dozen others. But stop, I am using too many question marks. There is no need to query heroes known and admired the world over. As true latter-day storytellers, both Hawthorne and Kingsley retold many of these myths and legends, and from their classic pages we have adapted a number of our tales, and made them somewhat simpler and shorter in form. By way of apology for this liberty, if some should so consider it, we humbly offer a paragraph from the preface to the Wonder Book written by its author. A great freedom of treatment was necessary, but it will be observed that every one who attempts to render these legends malleable in his intellectual furnace, that they are marvelously independent of all temporary modes and circumstances. They remain essentially the same, after changes that would affect the identity of almost anything else. Now, to those who have not jumped over my head, or to those who, having done so, may jump back again to this foreword, I trust my few remarks will have given some additional interest in our myths and heroes of lands far and near. Daniel Edwin Wheeler.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?